Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Women Across the World, and this is our podcast, and I have an amazing podcast host with me today. I have Jackie Zaccoli from Arizona, but her heart resides globally and in Africa with me. And then I have Megan from South Africa, and she's in a global direction also with all of us. And then I have Maria from the UK, and she's all about saving, giving clean water to Africa. And so now we have an amazing guest. Anaiis, we are so excited to hear your story, and you're going to inspire many. So come join us.
I want to thank you for this wonderful invitation, and it's coming at a really pivotal time in my journey. I'm in a massive wave of change right now. I do mean massive. And it's because of women like you. It's because of Jackie. It's because of the inspiration that we just get up every day and we find a way to do it. And we're able to work together. And what I love about the people who are part of my wave right now, which for me, I'm working into a new brand, which is fireproof leadership, based on what's happening in the United States. What I love about what's happening is those of us who are ready know there's no basis for competition in what we do. There's only basis for co-creative collaboration. And that's thrilling. That's thrilling because in my lifetime, to have traveled that far, which may have been decades, but we have traveled that far together. And we have our ancestors, we have our mothers, we have our sisters, we have our grandmothers that have been holding this torch for us. And it's grown and it's grown and it's grown and it's just really lit up right now. So I'm really grateful to be with you because I feel this every day when I wake up. I feel the depth of these connections and the incredibly beautiful space that is opening and opening and opening as we are both midwives, doulas, the women giving birth, and the new children to ourselves in all of our depth of possibility. So, what matters to me most right now is understanding that around the world we're in what I would call a master class where we're going to get our final degrees for being human and being female and being powerful and being brilliant and being unstoppable. No matter what happens, no matter how it happens, there are those of us who simply will not relinquish the core of who we are to anything less than full planetary awakening, in peace, in prosperity, in education for all, in abundance for all, because that is what this world was designed and made for. It was not designed and made for what so many of us have experienced presently and in past generations. We get to be the co-creators now. How we do this? For many of you, I'm sure, it's been a surprise. There have been moments when you're like going, wait a minute, what? And then, like any woman who is truly ignited in her soul, you just say yes. And you go for it. And you're not afraid to fail. You're not afraid to fall. But you're clear that you're not going to be controlled or overpowered by any form of what I call the system of separation. That's an absolute non-starter. So that's my story. I started out very young. One of my first words was coffee. I needed it to stay grounded. I I knew that somehow. My parents gave it to me in a baby bottle, and then it was on. Okay? They should have known in that moment that I would be using my voice to ask for what I want and need. And have the expectation that I have the gift of receiving. Receiving is a gift. And it's a gift that too many women have yet to receive. Okay. So, I moved on in that vein, being a non-compliant child, a child with a voice, an extremely sensitive child. What was marked by numerical quantification the depth of my intelligence at age 5, which my godmother then proceeded to immediately grandmother me into Radcliffe University. Okay. Yeah. So, non-compliant, creative, and I learned very early how to stand for myself, how to stand up for myself to any adult who thought that they were going to pull any wool over my eyes, and that I would call them out. And I did. So that has served me very well, because I was built by whoever designs us to trust that being non-compliant was going to be essential to my existence, and it has been. I have had the wonderful experience of being a wife. I am a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a sister. I have had the joy of being a Montessori educator, which was so aligned with my values and still is. Very beneficial for both of my children. I've had the blessing of being a children's clothing and design accessory designer who sold to Bloomingdale's and Saks Fifth Avenue and all kinds of things. But I will tell you that the key thing, beyond wife and motherhood, that has stood me so well for so long now, is a fluke incident where, being a volunteer, I got to work for Bernie Sanders when he transitioned from the state of Vermont, from Congress to Senate. I got to work with him closely and with his team. I was so proud to be part of that, and he served his state of Vermont very well. And I'm going to step up here today and be non-compliant and say that he is continuing to serve with amazing power, the ferocity of the lion heart that he is, the United States of America, who's in deep trouble right now. We are in deeply troubled water. I learned so much from Bernie, and I had done lots of other things, working my way through the wars that the United States insists it's going to remain a whatever in. So that's me, and that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. Is there anything else you want to share with us or with the people that are going to be hearing this before we ask you some questions, because you have a little more time?
I supported a life partner through the journey of his being in 5 years of medical school and of being an abused wife at that time and the sole provider, and having to stand up and stay put and learn when was the right time to walk away. I didn't do that nearly as well as I should have because I didn't have any support. And so I've learned how incredibly valuable it is for other women to support women who need a hand up in those critical moments.
Yeah.
It could have been much worse, but it wasn't great. I will share that all of this non-compliance and curiosity and creativity and love of life and love of humanity, one day during a retreat that I just went to because I was having some unusual states of consciousness, none of it having to do with drugs or alcohol, and I ended up in what was a incredibly profound, full spiritual awakening that opened me into gifts that within 2 years I was working side by side along doctors in the Soviet Union in Moscow when it was collapsing as the United States is collapsing now. And I was told that that would happen in 30 years' time. And it's been a little bit more than 30 years, but we're close. And I worked with doctors in hospitals doing energy healing on critical burn care patients and in the area of pediatric oncology. And the results of that energy work were medically documented, and in more than one instance they were defined as being miraculous. I share that because we are now in the time where we have the opportunity to make this how we go forward. Women and men who have extraordinary gifts being given the space and given the room and given the permission that I was never willing to ask for. I just went for it. To bring our children and our grandchildren and their children into a world that is so much more empowered in terms of creativity and conscious co-creation. Then we can imagine, and I have a really big imagination. C'est la vie.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love your heart. I love your heart. Yeah. Okay, so who has questions for... Oh, Jackie, right away. Okay, Jackie, go ahead.
Well, I'm glad that you brought in Russia because that whole part says so much. It really does. And I do love your sharing of your awareness that really this is the time for us, as abusive as our world is around us, it is this permission to actually to be what we can be, to create the one that we want. How are you doing that? That's what I'm curious, because I'm not understanding. I'm a very logistical, let's do this, whatever we call that. I need to understand, are you talk to me, what are you offering? How are you doing it?
I do it in a state of flow. I do it through flow of energy. That is part of the deal when you're a conscious co-creator. You're in flow. And that flow opens to opportunities. And I have an internal compass that lets me know when I need to say yes. And I have an internal compass that says, you don't know how to do that, network. You don't know how to make that happen, collaborate. You don't know how to not be unafraid to go someplace where you can't speak the language and you don't know anybody and you hope someone's going to meet you at the airport. Wherever that is. I've been in many, many countries. That's how I do it. And for me, that is the personification of feminine energy. That is in balance with masculine energy, inside, internally. So that we can be in balance in courtrooms, in classrooms, country clubs, tennis clubs, meeting spaces, city halls, hospitals. That's the deal. That's how I do it. And I gave up having a plan after my spiritual awakening, but I did have the amazing pleasure. Two things happened to me once. The Dalai Lama stopped. He was on his way walking through St. John the Divine doing the Kali Chakra ceremonies that he had done for many years. And I couldn't get a seat, and I was standing off to the side. And he walked through his entourage, and he stopped and he walked over to me, and he took my hands and greeted me. I was like, well, thank you. This is something I will cherish forever. And then many years later, before my awakening, I had become a hospice volunteer where I was living because I needed to do more. And at that hospice organization, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was honored. But she's one of my heroines, persons, human beings. And so I attended this event luncheon for her, and she told a story which was surprising for someone who had literally broken through the wall, built the entryway, put the door in, and opened it up for the rest of the world that we now appreciate as hospice, and the ability to be present with death and dying. And so she gave a talk about growing up in Switzerland, where she was originally from, and having pet rabbits. And one day going to school and coming home and going to take care of, interact with her pet rabbits, and one of them was missing. And she was concerned. And so she went in and asked her parents, and she asked, where's the other rabbit? It had been quite a pet to her. And her father told her quite frankly, it's been killed and we will be having it for dinner.
Oh my God.
She was not more than 10 years old. She told this story because it was key to how she opened her heart into the work that she did for millions of other people. I had my copy of her book on death and dying. I couldn't wait to get it autographed, and so I was waiting in line. She was being interviewed by reporters and such. And so I just went and took a seat until things cleared out a little bit. She broke free from the group of people the reporters, and she came over and sat down next to me and took my hands in hers and spent 10 minutes with me talking about the world and what she was doing, and who was I, and I'm like, what is going on here? Because I was being prepared, but I didn't know it. Okay? I sit before you today, speaking with you, which is a pleasure, still being prepared. And knowing this, and trusting it. Does that help you, Jack?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just a little bit. But that's helpful. Because there's no way I can get to the depth of where you are, but I'm ready to take the trip. I got myself all ready, and Carol and I are bringing all those people, all those light sources together.
Yes, you are.
And each day is a brand new miracle.
Yeah.
And
Yes, it is.
actually, I guess I could say today, you are my miracle. And it's grasping enough. I think that's possibly the challenge, is grasping enough to see. And of course, you'll tell me it doesn't matter because the path's already there, you just walk. But anyhow, it's a matter of grasping enough to know how, and the hows are not up to us, I know that, but to know what we can do to be sure that we are walking more together and in unison for the one.
Right. And that's flow,
Yeah.
and that's trust, and that's courage and fearlessness, which every one of you that I am the honor to be with today have in spades.
Wow. Anaiis, your energy, it's a draw.
Yes.
And,
Yeah,
and
obviously.
but it's different. You have an intention. You stand for something. You stand for something very big, and that's why you draw these amazing people to you. They just walk over to you. You stand for something big on the planet, and people are drawn to it, and they see it, and they feel it. It's energetic. I was drawn to you right away when you were on the panelist for the UN. I was like, gotta know who she is, because I'm drawn to people that are about the heart, that are heart centered, and yeah. So
This is how we find each other.
I know. Thank you so much that we find one another.
That we can find each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. That's what we've got to do, and we've got to pass the handshake.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
pass the recognition and the validation, even if it's for 30 seconds, it matters.
Thank you. Thank you that I know your energy is on this planet pulling us towards something way bigger than where we are right now in the space um, of all that's going on for women especially. Thank you that I almost feel like you're the pioneer. You are leading us. You are pulling us forward. That's what it feels like for me in your space. Thank you.
Thank you. If I can help you do that in any way, count on me. I will literally meet you in dream time to help you shape the dream that you are creating for this world. I have that power. I will meet you in dream time.
Absolutely beautiful. I want you in my dreams, okay? I
You
will
invited
open
me,
myself
so.
to you, okay? I will open myself to you. Okay, Megan, she has her hand up. Go ahead, Megan.
Thank you, Carol and Anaiis. Thank you so much. You absolutely ooze humanity. That's the thing that just struck me. I love the fact that your story is so quietly determined and powerful, and how assertive and decisive you are about just this part that you've learned to surrender to. Because I think that's the beauty of it. Is once you let it go and you realize that this is the path it's meant to be taking, and that you are meant to be on. There's a very discerning confidence within people like that, and I love seeing that. And thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to throw in something else here: fireproof leadership. I love that. When Jackie shared your bio with us in our planning schedule, I said earlier to Jackie, I love this, the fireproof concept of fireproof women that we had in there. But my question is, and I know you mentioned this, and I had a good giggle when you did, one of my first questions that I wanted to ask you is what grounds you? And you answered that. You spoke to us about your coffee, right? At this point in time, for me, working with youth and with young minds, I think it is really critical that we show them the beauty and the importance of being grounded within themselves. And that is a really big part of what I try and do with my youth.
Yeah, yeah.
So, aside from the coffee, what is it that grounds you, and do you have something to share with our audience listening and tuning in today that just will help them get there if they struggle to that place of being grounded within themselves? Because I know when I'm not grounded, everything's in disarray immediately. You feel it, you see it, it happens. Yeah, if you could share with us a couple of tips around just being grounded and just being able to accept your space in this world, because I love that about you.
Okay, you asked, thank you, great question. I'm going to answer that as quickly as possible. Do you own a remote control device?
Yes.
Okay, do you know how it works?
Yes.
Do you know exactly how it works and what is traveling through the air when you point the signal at the device that you want to change the information on?
Well, theoretically, yes, but we don't see it happening, do we?
We don't. And so I say the same thing is also true about oxygen. We don't see it happening, but if we don't have it, we know immediately what the result is. Yeah? Okay. Your energy as a human being, you need to be the only one who holds the remote control on your life. We all know that we breathe for ourselves, that unless we're getting CPR and someone is temporarily breathing for us, which is fabulous, and then we get an oxygen mask put on, which is fabulous, we all breathe for ourselves. The energy that you are, and this is the depth of my work, has to do with the human biofield. It is the information that we think we have today is barely scratching the surface. My hope is that every woman, every child, every person on this planet eventually comes into full understanding of the remote control that they hold in their hands that they don't yet know how to use properly, and that they can aim and point and choose the channel for their lives sees the show, the movie, the production of healthy humanity in peace and abundance somewhere in the universe, hopefully on this planet. So groundedness means you have to really have a base understanding of your basic 7 chakras. And they're a lot more complex than people realize. And then after that, before you move on from there to feel the grounding, which you must with your root chakra, this is your umbilical cord to the planet, through which she sends you all kinds of critical information to get you through your day. When I wake up in the morning, I have a routine, and one of the things I do is I lay quietly and I tap in here and I say, help me receive what is right for me right now today. And there is this flood of energy. First it comes from my crown down to my feet and it goes into the ground. And then there is a resonant response from the ground, right through my walls, through everything. I'm laying in bed, right through my feet, all the way through and up. When I get out of bed, I am grounded. Develop a routine that allows you to stay that connected to yourself and all the sources of energy that you are, that you may not yet know about, but you are the one who's holding that remote control.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, Maria, you have your hand up. What question do you have?
Yes, I just want to thank you for everything you've shared. It's just been, really amazing. And I feel a real kindred spirit, so I hope I can connect with you. I wrote down, you said receiving is a gift. And I thought that might be interesting for the audience to hear a little bit more about what that looks like.
I love that question. We're not taught that receiving is a gift. We're taught that receiving is something we have to earn. We're taught that receiving is something we have to deserve. We have to think properly. We have to be this, we have to be that. We have so many shoulds. Receiving is a gift. Your being alive in a body is a gift. A flower is a gift that you can receive. Good food is a gift that you can receive. You don't have to earn the right to enjoy a flower. You don't have to earn the right to pick a fig from a tree and eat it. As long, now there are rules about stealing, and of course that's all the system of separation stuff. Receiving is an intrinsic part of being human. And women have been so codified that we're only allowed to receive in certain ways from certain people in certain circumstances. And even our own fertility, which is a gift to us, for us, and through us, is being compromised. So, receiving is a gift. Pay a lot of attention to what that means for you, and choose to receive.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay.
We have an audience, we have a young audience that is listening, going to be listening to this. I'm always about what can we share with them for them to be on their own journey in being able to be grounded in who they are and what they're about in the world and what they stand for. What could you share with our young listeners that would have them really and truly get on that journey?
It's relatable to young people because early in life they feel the spark of their imagination and their visualization. If they're playing basketball, they see themselves getting the ball into the net, scoring the basket. If they're snowboarding, they're visualizing and feeling the spark of energy that is grounding to get them on the snowboard down the slope. Sailing, whatever it is, the physical body is the venue through which we activate And it's an internal journey first. Before you can pick up that basketball and bounce it a few times, and then there's a connection. And when you're doing that, that connection is so grounded to all of you, connected, all of you in neurology, all of you in biology. And then you release the ball in alignment with your intention. And it goes, sometimes in the basket, sometimes not. But if you keep doing that, you eventually get it in the basket more times than you don't. And you also learn how to play on a team. And that is so grounding. You learn how to do that motion with other players and how to work together. Now, that can then become the process of what we call winning. Winning is an internal experience first. You may take it to your mind, you may take it to your body, but first there's a spark in you that will know when it has the experience of being grounded and winning in whatever way. Maybe it's just you made a fabulous dinner for your friends. You know it. And no one can take that from you. No one can ever take that knowing and acknowledgement of this is how I'm doing and meant to be doing right now in my life in this moment. This is it. This is how I know.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I know our young listeners are going to benefit from that. Thank you. Maria, you have your hand up. Did you have one more question? Because we're going to end. No. Okay.
No, thank you.
All right. Anaiis, thank you so much for coming, making it work that you could get here and be a guest on our podcast. We are so excited to get this out to many people, and we put it out all over social media. Okay. And but thank you for being another amazing guest. It's been so rich being on this podcast. It's been so rich to take so many amazing women and really benefiting from their knowledge and their hearts and their energy. And you are an energy person. I feel you so strongly in here. So thank you for making.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
let's stay in touch, because you're all, like if we were to go into a cafe and sit for 4 hours and we would talk about how fireproof we are, wow. Okay? So my next summit will be in June, and I will look forward to each of you considering being a speaker on what it is you do in the world, how you do it, where you do it, who you do it with. I would love to have you, because I'm working to get this information global and hopefully in multiple languages.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, you found a home here with us, okay? All right. So, guys, thank you again for another amazing episode of Women Empowered Across the World. Please, if you want to be a guest on our podcast, please reach out to one of us. We are all over LinkedIn. Let us know you have a story you want to share that can inspire many women across the world. And please, if you love these episodes, guys, this is, I think, episode 62. Oh my gosh. And so please, if you love these episodes, please subscribe to our channel. Please comment. And please share it with everybody you can share it with, so we get out there bigger and bigger. Make these things go viral so many more women can benefit from it.
You have a question?
Yes.
I would love to do that. I'm still promoting the Leadership Summit all through April. And if I can get a copy of this video, I will include it as a bonus on my follow-up summit information with your information, so people can know where and how to find you. I would love to do that.
Beautiful, Annalise. Yes, we will make sure as soon as I upload it into YouTube that you get a link to it so that you can share it. Absolutely.
I can add it and it will be shared.
You-
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much again. Bye, everyone.